If y'all seen my face when I had walk out that room, and it was just like, they say police on their face. I was like, damn, this handcuff time for me. That was. Alright, welcome back to the 47 show. And yeah, by the title, y'all already know what I'm about to be talking about, but yeah, we doing a story time today. I said I'm gonna switch it up. Yeah, I'm getting some sage, about to burn some sage, just to get me, have some good vibes. But alright, y'all. So I guess Bob Marley wasn't feeling it today, but this was like right. This was right when COVID first had hit, and I was in my dorm, y'all. I was in my dorm basically, and all my roommates went home because like everybody was going home with COVID, but I was like, yeah, I don't think so. So I was in the dorm by myself, like all my roommates gone, just me and them. Let me give y'all a little idea. So you walk into my dorm, right? Maybe I should turn this way so y'all get what I'm saying. You walk into there. The kitchen is right over here to the left. Kitchen over here to the left, and then you keep going straight, and my room is on the right. Like it's just straight way, and my room is right there on the right. So as soon as I step out the door, the front door is in front of me, if that makes sense. In the kitchen over there, just to give y'all the mental picture of what I'm saying. So it was like getting close to the end of the semester, and it was just like kind of calming down. So I'm chilling, and this was around the time, y'all, I was learning how to make my own edibles. So I'm in the kitchen like every day, experimenting, just experimenting with. Excuse me, I just finished eating, but I was learning how to make edibles. So I've been experimenting with everything, with tea, with food, I wasn't baking nothing. I didn't never care to bake, even though I don't know, I just never been the baking type. But food and drinks, I was trying to infuse it any way I could. So but I just finished burning one. I was burning one with Bob Marley. That's when I had this post. That's when it was on my wall. I was with Bob Marley chilling, right? And then I'm like, I might as well just take some of this and make a tea with it instead of, because at this point, that's when I was kind of getting off of the whole smoke thing, because it was just like, I don't know, I just feel like my throat was just starting to feel it. So I'm like, let me get this in this drink. So I put me a tea on the stove, right? And the way it looked is, it's a mason jar. I got the mason jar in a pot on the stove. So it looked weird if you don't know what it is. So, y'all, I'm sitting there chilling. I just finished my tea on the stove. It probably had like 30 more minutes left, right, till my tea was done. And the maintenance man come in. So the maintenance man walk in my room, and the maintenance man, they chill. Like, my room, I had a lavender incense burning. I remember that. I had lavender incense burning, y'all. And people burn Fabuloso, and they got that lavender smell, but I had an incense. So, they walk in the room, they're like, yeah, you can smell it in here, but, I ain't tripping, because bro was basically saying, like, he smoked himself. So I'm like, oh, bro, so he clearly don't care. So he come in there, right? They chilling. They checking my roommate's room to make sure, like, they towel rod and everything still in the room. So I'm thinking I'm good. I got my tea still on the stove, just cooking, thinking like, everything good. That's when who come in next? Oh, the leasing office lady. The leasing office lady. Her name was We gonna call her Red. But so Red walk in the dorm, right? Yeah. And she was like, it smell like weed all in here. And I'm like, dang, I was not expecting you to be in here. So, I'm like, I got the incense burning. It just started though, so it wasn't like I had the smell covered up or nothing. So she told me that, right? So I'm in the room, they check in my roommate's room, and that's when all of a sudden she come knock on my door. And I'm thinking everything good. And she say to me, oh yeah, the police on the way, so you might want to start gathering your stuff up. Y'all, like, this lady said this thing, like, not with no type of rush or no type of, to make me feel like you should be scared. Not scared, but you should be worried because the police on the way. Like, no, it was none of that in her voice, like, whatsoever. It was just like, my sister gonna be here in 2 minutes, like, something like that. Like, that's how she told me the police was coming. Like, oh, yeah, the police gonna be here. So I'm thinking, like, police gonna be here for what? So what happened after that? So she told me that, oh, so I had called my homeboy already, like, when she came in the room, and she was just like, it smelled like something in there. So I just called him over there to help me, like, clean up and stuff and get stuff out the room. So that's when as soon as she told me that, so I go back in my room picking up the pieces of evidence, basically, and putting all the rest of my belongings into a book bag. So I'm throwing everything into this book bag, and I got gar packs and just scraps of stuff. So I'm like, let me get all this stuff. So I'm just cleaning up. And then I walk up my dorm room, y'all. Like, literally, like, I'm in there chilling, like, no shirt on, just with some joggers on, like, no socks, no shirt, just in my room chilling. I probably playing some music or something. Walk out there, and I see 2 police officers standing in my living room, y'all. Like, from the amount of time that she just told me the police officers were coming, and the time that they was in my room, you would think that they was already downstairs waiting on me. So now I walk out the room, and they just right there. They right there, and I'm like,
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. Cause
I ain't like freak out and like act guilty, but I'm like, they really, they really in my room right now, and I'm about to get some handcuffs. Like, that's really what was going in my head. Like, I'm about to get some handcuffs and and that was my thought process. But I'm like, I ain't even gonna trip. So I just was like, dang. Went back in the room real quick. Tried to clean up a little bit more, probably like a couple more seconds. I don't even know why I went back in the room. Then I went back into the living room, and they seen the stove with the tea boiling. Let me get to the point. Let me keep going. So they see the stove. They see what's on the stove, y'all. They see what's on the stove, and they say, what's that? It looked like, and I already explained, it's a mason jar inside of a pot of boiling water, and it's just cooking. And it's just like why you got a glass jar inside of a pot that's already on? Like, it just don't look like, if you seen it, you'll be like, that dude look kind of sketchy. So the dude officer, it was a lady and the dude. The lady wasn't really saying much. She was kind of in the background. I feel like she had more of an attitude. The dude was more, white dude, he was more chill though. So he asked me what's in the jar. He asked me what's on the stove. Y'all, I just messed up. Let me go back a little quick second. So when they walk in the door and I walk out my room, the lady say, yeah, you could smell the weed, the Red say, you could smell the weed in the room, and he got Fabuloso on the stove. He got Fabuloso on the stove trying to cover it up. And I'm like, first of all, it's an incense right there beside the lady burning. Like, it's clearly in your face. You talking about it's Fabuloso on the stove. As soon as she said it was Fabuloso on the stove, that's what made them look at the stove. So they look at the stove, and he say, what's on the stove? Because he not dumb enough to think it's Fabuloso with a glass jar in it. Yeah, so he asked me what's on the stove, and I'm just like, that's marijuana. Like, and it just so calm, like, that's marijuana. I feel like, side note, I feel like officers, they kind of feed off of your energy or how they feel like how well they can handle you. And by how well they can handle you, I mean like how much they manhandle you and just make you feel like you inferior. So if you give them that energy as if like, you could do whatever you want basically, they gonna do that.
We got him.
And I just didn't act like that when they came in the room. So I feel like that's why things went the way they went. So back to the story. Dude, I'm like, yeah, that's marijuana. And he was like, So he walk over there and he pick it up, y'all. What did he do? Oh no, he moved the top off of it and then he look at the jar and it's just the herb grinded up in the bottom of the jar. And he was like, so you just do this for the fragrance or what? And I'm like, nah, I'm making a tea because, it's a healthier way to ingest the herb instead of burning it. And he was like, Like, he was legit, like, I feel like he was like, I never heard that one before. Like, that's some new stuff. So he was like, he just took my answer. And then he was like, well, you got to go, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, and it's illegal, right? In the state of South Carolina, you can't have this. And I'm like, yeah. And then that's when my homeboy that I called earlier walk in the door, right? So, like, this dude saved me. Because, like, y'all, if they would have found the stuff in that book bag, this story might be a little different than like, so, my homeboy come in there, and, he like, what did he say? Oh, the officers was like, the lady tried to give him a hard time, but I think the dude was more chill with it. The lady was like, what you here for? And he was like, oh, I just had to come get my stuff. Like, if you watching my video right now, bro, like, he was my dog for sure. Like, this dude, that's my dude. But, so, bro, come in the room smart, like, already knowing, see police officers and just like, oh, yeah, I came to get my stuff real quick out the room. And, so, I go in the room real quick and I'm like, grab that book bag. So he grabbed the book bag and he just leaving. And I'm like, bro, come back over here. He was like, you gonna be good? And I'm like, yeah, just come back over here. So he leave, take that stuff out the room. And then literally after he did that, right? And the dude asked me what else. He asked me maybe like one more question about what was on the stove. So he went into my room and I'm thinking like, he about to search my room. He didn't even search my room though. Like, he kind of just went in there, looked around. He looked at what was on my counters. And I had a broken mason jar. Well, it wasn't broken like in pieces, but it was like fragmented from the heat from me making edibles earlier that week, and I burned it on accident. No, that was stink. Oh, that was stink. Don't ever burn no herbs. But so I burnt that, and he saw that, but it just had looked like a whole bunch of ashes. So I guess he didn't think nothing of it. He just kind of moved it around and then left it alone. He was like, that's all. He's like, that's everything you got. That's all that's in your possession right there on the stove. And I'm like, yeah. So we leave out of my room. Like, it was just like magic. Like, to this day, I feel like that was just like my ancestors and the Most High and everybody in the spirit world who just got my best interest at mind. Just was like, let's get this police officer up out of his room. So he literally asked me that one question, and we left out of the room. And I'm like, you could have found. Even though I put a whole bunch of stuff in that book bag, y'all, like, if he would have went looking in my room, like 9 times out of 10, he probably would have found something. Because it's not like, yeah, he just probably would have found something. Like, they find a roach and be tripping about that. So we left out of there, and he wrote me a ticket. He wrote my ticket, y'all. And then he tell me about some program I could do to get the whole thing off my record. So I'm like, so I'm not getting arrested. He ain't put no handcuffs on me, y'all. I'm thinking, like, in my head when he first came in, I'm thinking, like, I'm leaving out of this room in the back of his car. And yeah, I thought I was gonna be in his car, but that wasn't his plan for some reason. Like I said, that was the Most High. And my ancestors they was just like putting that, they would lay that scene out to get me out of there as best as possible. That's how I feel. But so he wrote my little ticket. Then he explains to me the program to do to get it off of my record, which I have done. He explained this whole program, tell me where to go to sign up for it. Y'all, if they offer that program, I'm not saying don't do it, but you probably gonna end up spending more money. I spent probably like out of my pocket, like a good 1K on this whole program from different classes and different acceptance, just like the application fees and just out of that whole thing. I probably spent $1,000. And that's too much money when I probably could have just paid the ticket. I didn't know that at the time. He kind of set me up for the okie doke, but it wouldn't have been off my record that way. So it worked out. That's all I'm gonna say. But then he leave, and then that's when Red come back in there. The leasing office lady, she come back in there. After they leave, they tell me, oh no, she was in there while I was in there, but they told me I had to get out. I had to get out the apartments. Because my apartments was separate from the actual school that I was going to. Like, the apartments and the school is two separate entities, basically. So, like, yeah, I just basically had to leave the apartments, but not the school, if that makes sense. So, she tell me, you got to be gone by, you got to get your stuff out of here by 5 o'clock. And I'm like, well, dude, they just told me that. So, like, it was no point. So, that's when she come and say to me, well, what the hell was you thinking? Like, you should have known. And I'm like, she switched like, she was trying to be so, like, I'm the leasing office lady, and then she switched it off, and it was just like, she tried to be my friend, and was like, tried to be like, wow, what would make you do that? Like, you should have thought. And I'm like, who are you? Like, I don't even talk to you like that. We not cool. So, and then I'm like, even if we was cool, like, what is that to say? Like, first of all, they already done tell me everything that you about to say. You just came to repeat it, to impose your influence on me just a little more to make me feel like, oh, you gotta, like I don't feel bad, yo. I feel like after that whole situation, my life went upward. So, I'm thankful for what I went through. To say, like, the police walking on me, something to be thankful about, but I'm still happy. And that's all that matters in this world to me, my happiness and me being at peace. And I got that. So, but yeah, she came, tell me all this, and I'm packing up my stuff. Me and my homeboy, we packing up my stuff. And then she come back, like 5 o'clock come around, like I'm literally the only one in there. Like, the whole kitchen, all the pots, everything we cook with is in there. And I had to take it home. All of the stuff in my room, everything in my bathroom, like all this. I'm like, you gave me like an hour and a half to pack up this whole apartment. I don't know where she thought that was going. So, I think 6 o'clock came around. And this time she brought the police back with her to tell me, you gotta go. I'm like, why? Do y'all think I'm trying to, like, sneak and stay on the campus or something? Like, y'all think I want to spend the night here? I'm about to go. I just ain't got no time because y'all keep bugging me. And I'm running around. I had stuff in other people's rooms that I had to go get. Basically, y'all, moral of the story was, don't freak out over police. Like, they really not that all they hyped up to be. Like, they just some regular dudes working. That's how I feel. Like they some regular dudes working a job. That's how it should be. But they head get inflated by this badge and this gun that they got, and it make them into these people who just, I don't know, perform these evil acts. And it's like, if you don't give them the room and the space to do those type of things. I mean, I never been in no terrible situation with no police, because I just avoid them at all costs. This was this just happened to be like, it was no avoiding that. Like, it wasn't no way to get out of that situation. They were sitting right there in the room, like, in the living room, like they was about to drink some tea with me or something. I don't know. Have y'all seen my face when I had walk out that room? And it was just like, they say police on their face. I was like, damn, this handcuff time for me. That was how I was feeling. But you know, as the story goes, you can see that it ain't happen. But like I was saying, don't trip about no police. You know, keep your calm. If you ever in a situation, they'll just keep your cool, keep your calm. And 9 times out of 10, they will be too. But when you act like you, like that whole thing we do, where we put our hands, you know, up on the dashboard and all of that stuff, you know, I feel like that gives them more room to just treat you like trash. Like, you already treated me like I controlling everything you do right now just by walking up to your window. So now I'm just gonna make it even harder. Like, when police officers come up to my window, like, I don't do all of that. Like, I literally just be like, yes, like talking to a normal person. Like, do you need something? Not to be on no rudeness. Like, I don't just be rude with anybody because I'm like, I don't know what type of officer you are, but I'm not about to treat you like you own me either, like I'm your slave or something. Like, that's not what's gonna happen. And the response I usually have with police officers is better than most situations that we see on social media and stuff. Like, I mean, one time I knew my car had a stench to it, smelled like some herbs. And the officer, he didn't even say nothing. Like, he literally, it was like a what you call them, little roadblock things, where they stop every car and they like ask you for your license and stuff. Like, if they looking for somebody, I pull up to one of those. Like, I literally just outed and pull right up, and I'm like, got the defrost blasting, trying to, you know, and he didn't even say nothing. He literally just took my ID, took his little flashlight, looked at it, looked at my face, handed it right back to me, and was like, have a nice night. And I'm like, I know you smelled something. Like, it's no way possible you didn't, but he didn't say nothing. So, you see what I'm saying? Like, you gotta play it like you ain't got no reason to be getting in trouble. But if you made it to the end of the video, or you new to the channel and you made it to the end of the video, and you love yourself, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button for me, because that's how we spread the video to, you know, the more people who don't know my channel yet. More people on the planet get to see me when y'all like the video. So like the video, hit the subscribe button if you love yourself. Only if you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, then don't touch the subscribe button, because we don't even need that energy over here. But and what's the other button? The notification bell. I forgot that one. Hit the notification bell for me. And yeah, that's the end of the video.